Right, we're back at Blyton at the end of September, the penultimate event for me. We're here early in the year and got a new record on the Eastern Circuit and got within a second, I think, on the Outer Circuit. So it's the same format this weekend. We've got the Eastern Circuit today, which is the infield circuit if you like, and then the outer high-speed circuit tomorrow. So conditions not as good as earlier in the year when it was nigh on perfect. We're now at the end of September, it's October next week, so it's decidedly cooler, but the weather forecast is dry all today and dry all tomorrow with rain overnight. So if it stays like that, we'll be happy. So yeah, track temperature's fairly cool, tyre temperatures will be cool, so I don't think we're going to get close to the previous time of the year, but let's see how close we can get. If it stays dry, we'll keep pushing, and hopefully it warms up slightly during the day. I think highs of 16 forecast. So yeah, let's see how we get on. This is first practice. Well, there's only one practice, so this is practice, and then we'll be straight into the time runs. See how many we get. Right, yeah, forgot to mention we've had the diff seals done, so the diff is no longer leaking, or it shouldn't be. But here at Blyton we need fourth gear on several occasions, so that is the conundrum. Are we going to be able to get it in fourth? We'll just have to find out as we go along. Slow down for the last corner. 78.2, yeah. Not too bad. Not much grip there. Sliding, slipping, squirrely. But let's hope it warms up as the day goes on and as we get us high in. Not too bad to start with. Right, so timed run 1 coming up. Temperature's now 12 degrees, it's gone up 2 degrees. Very little tyre temperature or tack temperature in practice. Struggled to get off the line and struggled to brake for that last corner. So let's hope there's a little bit more grip there. I think today the last run is going to be the best run. Yeah, normally it's the first or second in the summer before it gets too hot, when the air temperature's fairly cool but the sun's out on the track. I think today could be the reverse because we're into autumn. It's not going to get that warm, but it is going to get slightly warmer in the afternoon, and the track will have rubbered in a bit as well, so I think it could get quicker as we go along, but let's just see. Still got to give it as much as we can on each run, but yeah, I think ultimately in the morning the tyre temperatures just aren't there. Felt them when I come in after practice and there were no heat at all in the tyres, so we could really do with a rerun today, as I think we would benefit massively from a warm-up lap. No tyre warming allowed here at Blyton either, so it's not as if we can get any heat into the tyres, and the start line's a struggle. But we'll crawl away and we'll just see what kind of grip there is. It did go into fourth as well, so let's just try and be gentle with fourth gear and hope it goes in. Easier said than done. Into a 77, but yeah, the grip just ain't there. The main thing is we shaved a little bit off, but bloody hell, yeah, grip levels very suboptimal. So we'll see if it warms up or gets any grippier in the afternoon. Might get one more before lunch, I'm not sure. Right, timed run 2. Getting another one in before lunch, so we will have then 2 or 3 time runs after lunch, all being well. So we got 78 in practice, 77 on timed run 1. Can we claw us way into a 76? We're now up to 13 degrees, it's gone up another 1 degree. But yeah, that last one, still very little grip out there, relatively speaking, compared to earlier in the year. So I may just have to feather the throttle on a couple of corners rather than just plant my foot and risk it going sideways. But it should be rubbering in all the time, and it's slowly but surely warming up. We need a rerun really today to get an optimum time. The temperatures just ain't there, but see where we can get on this one. Yeah, see if we can scrape into a 76 before lunch, which would be nice, but a challenge nevertheless. Just realised as well, I've not checked my tyre pressure since I arrived this morning. Set them at 35 at the front, 31 at the rear, so hopefully they've not gone up too much, but we'll not worry about that right now. We'll check them after dinner for the afternoon runs. Charlie spun before me as well, so I thought I'd back off a bit. So that's two of us spun straight after each other. Oh well, at least hopefully no harm done. Managed to just about hang on to it. Right, back after lunch, timed run 3. So yeah, lost grip on that last one. The temperature's now got up to 15, so we've increased a bit more, but the wind has picked up, so it actually feels colder. Don't think it's going to get much better. I checked the tyre pressures after that last run and they've gone up a couple of psi, 37 and 33, but left it to cool down over lunch and they've gone back down to normal. So I've put them at 34 for the front and 30 at the rear. I've dropped another psi out of the rear to try and get off the line a bit better and try and just work the rear tyres that bit more squidginess around the corners to try and generate a bit of heat, because yeah, even after a full lap coming off and the tyres are flat cold. So yeah, that is the problem today, lack of heat, but at least it's not raining. So can we get a 76 on this one? That's the aim. I don't think we're going to get a 75 today. I am leading the class, but only by a few tenths, so it's still there, anybody's for the taking. So fingers crossed we can get a 76 and then we'll just see what we can do after that. But yeah, gotta finish first. Finish first you gotta finish, as the saying goes, and it's no good spinning out, and it could have been a lot worse, so we don't want to do that again. Yeah, maximum concentration. Mr. Gear! Bloody hell! Fourth gear plagues again. It could be one of them days. Could be one of those days. I mean, it did go in at end, but maybe we're trying to force it in too much. So we'll see if we can do it on the next one. Right, timed run 4. Can we put one together? So we kind of did on that last one. I was 10th up in every sector, but then wouldn't go into 4th, which we know is an issue, and I lost a full second on that back straight. So I would have been 3 or 4 tenths up on my best time, but ended up being a second down. So yeah, let's try and coax it into 4th after that. Is it Bunga Bunga, the double apex? Pray it goes in and see if we can get into a 76. That's the ultimate aim now. We need to try. We should have this in one more run, so let's see if we can get a 76. I've also been picked for first. Terry's snuck in with a few hundredths quicker, so there's that to play for as well. Unfortunately, the BARC Championship, they only count the first 3 runs, so I've screwed that one up to a degree. Although I can't move anywhere in the championship at this late stage anyway, so it's kind of irrelevant, but it'd have been nice to get maximum points, but we've messed that up. So I don't think we're going to get anywhere near a decent score in the Nottingham Championship, because that targets my previous 175, but let's see if we can scrape into a 76. Come on, gearbox, play ball. It's now 16 degrees, it's warmed up another degree, but the wind's picked up even more, so it just feels exactly the same. I don't think there's any difference with track temperature or anything. And the tyres are stone cold with the wind. But let's see if we can claw one in the 76s. Identical to the other time. Oh, is a 76 there? I don't know. See what the sectors were like. One last go at it to try and get first place in a 76. Right, 5th and probably final run. Can we get a 76? So yeah, another 77.4 on that last one. It did go in 4th, although it was very iffy. We're now up to 17 degrees, but yeah, it just feels exactly the same with the wind. Is there going to be any grip there? We need a 76 to probably win the class and to get a respectable time. So let's see. Let's just see. It's had all day to rubber in. It's as warm as it has been at any point. Just need that tiny bit more grip, and let's see if it goes into 4th. 76.5. That's a bit better. Oh, that bit more grip there. And it still wasn't perfect. Yeah, there's probably the most grip there's been all day. Now the temperature's crept up slightly. But still very iffy in places, so I can certainly do a bit better, I think, but that's probably the last run. I'm glad I've got a 76 to finish with, thank God. A second or so slower than earlier on in the year, but it was ideal then, so yeah. Right guys, you join us back at a very wet Blyton Park. So we've had a fair few hours of rain overnight and it stopped about 30 minutes, 45 minutes ago. So we're just coming down for practice, which has been delayed because of the rain and the standing water on the track. So this one is going to be very sketchy. Luckily the Caterhams are out first, so they're clearing a bit of water. I mean, it's no fun for them because they've got no roof and there's a lot of puddles out there. But they'll hopefully clear a bit of water, we'll clear a little bit more, and it is forecast to dry up and potentially the sun come out. So going to be very similar to yesterday, where the last run in theory will be the best run. It certainly won't be this one or the first time run. So yeah, we need the sun to come out, or at least the clouds to dissipate and the track to start drying up. But at the minute there's a lot of standing water and it is wet everywhere, so we'll be very tentative in practice. And yeah, we couldn't get off the start line yesterday, so today's going to be twice as bad. Let's watch Charlie in front and see how he struggles. Well, we got round, that's the main thing, but yeah, we ain't going to break any records other than worst ever lap. Let's hope it dries up. Right, timed run 1. We've just had some more drizzle, so conditions very similar to practice. Still very wet and puddly out there. I can't remember what practice time was because it's all irrelevant. So yeah, we ain't going to be breaking any records on this one either. We'll just see what the time is and how it compares to others. Then we may get one more before lunch, and then we're praying that the sun comes out. Now it is brightening up slightly, so we've still got us fingers and toes crossed that it will dry up this afternoon. But yeah, let's see what this one's like, and we're just gonna have to build it up gradually. No prizes for careering off on a morning like this, so just see how brave we can be. I think I was the fastest through the speed trap in practice out of anyone I could look at, so I've got that award. Not that it's an award, but yeah, let's see how we get on in time run 1 and then just build it up through the day. Time as practice, but a very different way of getting there. Bloody hell. Oh, crazy. Well, I lost it on first corner and then won't go into fourth. We're going to have to be very, very precise on the later runs. My word. Come on, gearbox. GoPro, stop record. Right, time run 2, and then we're having lunch. So it would have been nice to have lunch now and get more runs, potentially dry runs after lunch, but we're squeezing one in. No more rain, so the track is now probably 50% dry, and it's drying out all the time. So this is one of them in-between conditions. But yeah, we're still not going to be getting any great times until this afternoon, but hopefully after lunch it will be more or less dry, then we can push on. So we'll just try and keep it on track on this one, see if I can get off the start any better, because the starts have been horrendous. That first corner we almost lost it last time. We'll try and take that a bit better. We'll see if it goes into fourth. I've now noticed some massive cracks on my front discs to the point where they're like cavernous, so I'm very worried about that. I've only got today and then Kerbra next weekend, so I'm not going to change them before then. But yeah, the discs are looking very, very sketchy. I'll put a picture on. So there's a lot of issues, but we'll try and manage our way through it and see if we can get round with a respectable time. Right, time run 2, take 2. Let's see if it goes into fourth. This fourth gear just don't want to know. At least tyres might be semi-warm now, lukewarm, so we'll see. That is compared to everybody else, but it's better than previous. Still about 10 seconds shy of my wet time. Right, we'll have to attack it after lunch. Let's hope it continues drying out. Right, time run 3 after lunch, and the weather is notably better. So the sun's decided to make an appearance as forecasted. Wind's picked up slightly, so the track is drying at a rapid rate of knots. I would say it's 90% dry now. Hopefully by the last run it'll be 100% dry. Should be. So yeah, times are going to get quicker and quicker and come tumbling down if the car plays ball. So we're currently second in class, but all them times from this morning for everyone were kind of irrelevant. Now definitely plenty of grip there. Messed that last corner up a bit, but see how that compares to everybody else. Night and day compared to this morning. Right, 5th and possibly last timed run. Or was it 4th? I've lost count. We may get one after this. They're umming and ahhing at the minute, but this is potentially the last run. Best run of the day as predicted this morning. Sun's been out now for an hour or so. Track's more or less fully dry. Might even be a bit of track temperature. So let's attack it on this. 73 in the last one, 2nd in the class. And Terry's just in front on a lower 73. So my PB from earlier in the year is 70, I think. So we're 3 seconds off that. Let's see how close we can get. I'm going to attack all the curbs full on. Pray it goes in 4th on the back straight, and I'll leave it in 3rd again on the final straight. I do gain a bit of speed putting it into 4th, but it's just not worth the risk today of screwing it a good lap up. That's if we're doing a good lap at that point. We may have already screwed it up, but yeah, let's give it maximum attack on this one now and see where we get. Shave some more off, maximum attack. Oh, I might get another run, we'll see. Just squirming a bit again in places, but we're getting there. Right, bonus run time. We are getting a 5th run. Best conditions of the day. Track for all intensive purposes fully dry and the sun has been on, so can we shave any more off? Currently lying 2nd by 6/100ths of a second. It is neck and neck between a few of us, so yeah, let's see if we can get into a 71. Same as yesterday, we're not going to get to a 70 from the ideal conditions earlier in the year, but again, like same as yesterday, if we can get within a second, it's not too bad. So see if it goes into 4th again. I'm going to leave it in 3rd after that bunga bunga. There's just no point risking going to 4th on that final straight, but see if it goes into 4th again after this first section, and just yeah, see if we can give it double maximum attack. bloody cost me? Oh, I need to get fourth sorted. Yeah, it would have been a 71. Ah, this bloody gearbox. Well, that's it. Final event at Kerbra next weekend. See what we can do there. Right, back from Blyton. Very frustrating weekend overall. Weather was a bit unpredictable, but it's the same for everybody. But the car gearbox issues that we've been having for the last year or two reared the head again, and it was a struggle. It's 50-50 whether it goes in fourth gear or not, and that's actually short shifting. It's just getting worse obviously as the weeks and months go by. So that is number one priority over the winter, is to get the gearbox rebuilt. I have got a new second and fourth synchro at the house, which I've imported from Japan. Hopefully it's the right parts, so I just need to find someone to rebuild that. But that is the main priority now for the car. The diff was leaking oil from where the drive shaft's going. That's been sorted. Got new seals, changed the diff oil as well, and it does feel much better than it did before. So diff sorted, gearbox to sort. I need two new rear tyres. The tyres are end of life, so yeah, we're losing the back end at Blyton. I mean, the back end always goes first on my car anyway, but when the tyres, I've got two fairly new tyres on the front, and the rears are now, I've had since the start of the year, so they've done a lot of events and there's very little tread left. So I need two new rear tyres as well. The brakes, I didn't realise how bad they were. I put a picture on the video, and then when I got back home I looked at the other side, the other front, and there was a crack even worse on that side all the way through the disc. So like halfway down to the centre, but all the way through. So it was only a matter of time before the disc exploded or completely cracked through. Yeah, which is a weird one, because I only put them on in March, so they've only done this year, and they are supposed to be, you know, a motorsport grade disc or whatever. The grooved and the better than standard. But I couldn't risk them at Kerbra next weekend for the last event when I got back home. So I've shot through to Tarmac Sports and picked just some standard ones up, some Padgets they had, which we'll do for the last event. But it'd be interesting to see how standard discs get on with like race pads, if you like. I've never used standard discs while I've had the car, but you'd think the uprated disc would be better. But the experience I've had is even the grooved ones and the slotted ones just don't last. Not with what I'm doing anyway. And I'm only braking from like 100 mile an hour 2 or 3 times per run. It's not as if I'm going round and round and round constant. So it is a strange one. It might be the rapid heating and cooling that does it. I don't know. So we'll see. We've put the standard discs on for this last event, see how they bed in and see how they feel, and hopefully they'll be fine with an uprated pad. So they're sorted. And yeah, so on to Blyton. Saturday was the inner circuit, and we ended up on the final run with a 76.5, about a second off where I was earlier in the year in perfect conditions. So that's where I anticipated I'd get to if it stayed dry, which it did. Just slowly but surely got better throughout the day. Did have a run where there was gear issues, but I was fully expecting that. So yeah, it was a slog to get to a 76, but we got there in the end. And then coming back on the Sunday, the aim was a 71, because I did a 70.5, I think it was earlier in the year. So I thought a 71.5, we'll go a second off that. And the final run was a 72.2, but I had gear issues and I lost about half a second there. So it would have been, if it had gone in fourth, that final run would have been the best run again, like I said on the video. Probably around a 71.5
I wouldn't have won the class with that because Terry put in a stonking 71 flat, I think it was. So I still would have come second. So irrelevant from that point of view, but from my personal satisfaction point of view, I'd have been happy with a 71.5 to mirror the previous day and being a second off earlier in the year, but wasn't to be. So my best time on Sunday was a 72.01. A smidge off a 71, but there you go. So you didn't get any decent points for either championship, but we come first on Saturday, second on Sunday. It was interesting in the wet on the Sunday as well. It just got drier and drier as the day went on, but to start with was horrendous. So yeah, had to have my wits about me. Didn't actually spin on the Sunday where I did on the Saturday. If you saw the video, lost it after Bunga Bunga. And I think that was just, like I said, just lack of tyre temperature. I just floored it, which I have done numerous times before, and it always sticks, but it didn't for that on that occasion. So we go to Kerborough for the last event next week. We'll burn these rear tyres out. It is forecast to be rain, so yeah, it's going to be very slippery if it is wet, but fingers crossed, there's still all week to go. We may get some dry runs, who knows. We'll see what it's like when we get there. We've got Saturday and Sunday at Kerborough, then that's the end of the year, and then, as I say, we need to get this gearbox sorted. Thank you very much.